Hello, sports fans. Seattle Mike Sports Experience. If you're looking to see if ESPN Plus is right for you, you're watching the right video. Hopefully, I give you the details that you can make an informed decision on whether it is worth it for you and your family. Right now, $10.99 a month. If that puts you out, you can hit the video right now and hit that stop button. You can combine it with Hulu and Disney Plus, $14.99 for the ad-supported plan, $24.99 a month for the no ad plan, which is what I have. I have the bundle, and I think it's worth it. If you have ESPN Plus, a couple years ago, I would have told you, if you weren't a UFC fan, like, don't even think about it. It's not going to be worth it. They've added quite a few things since then. That being said, they took some things away from the UFC, like being able to search any of the former fights you're looking for. You got a pretty good live and up and coming. You're going to get to see 40-some UFC fight nights included in that price every year. So for me, that's well worth it. You can go back and watch a lot of past events. It doesn't seem like you can find all the last fights, but like there's through the ESPN contract back to 276. Let's look at all the other fights you're going to be able to watch. If you're not like a huge MMA nerd like me, like there's probably plenty of for you. Sometimes I'll look up former fights because I'm curious about like a bet I want to make, how a fighter reacts to like a leg kick or a certain tendency in a fight compared to another fighter. I don't think most people are breaking it down to that point. But Hall of Fame class title fights, UFC highlights. You got the first 10 UFCs right here. That's UFC the beginning. I like to go back and watch some of those periodically. But I'm just a huge fight fan. If you're mostly fight fan, MMA, boxing, and you want to join our live reactions, which we do basically every weekend, join Fights with Friends. I'll leave the link for that down in the description. But for those that aren't huge fight fans, I'll try to brush through this and look at some of the other things ESPN has to offer. You get all these shows and series. You get them with a lot of the other sports too. But here you can go back and watch all the old Ultimate Fighters, Dana White Contender Series, Ronda Rousey's show. DC and RC no longer a thing. It's Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen. They have a show now called Good Guy, Bad Guy. That is available on ESPN Plus. UFC main event. You're just going to get like a bunch more fights. Like these are all main event fights, and it's probably better, especially if you're not like a big hardcore fan. This will cut a lot of the fluff out for you. They try to pick the best of the best in fights, so should keep you highly entertained as far as that's concerned. You can even go back to year's best fights of 2022, UFC rivalries, your most popular fights, submissions, classic fights. Just a lot of different stuff for UFC. They've added PFL as far as MMA is concerned. So this browser takes some getting used to if you're doing it on the PC. It's just easier to do a review like that, but I like it much better on the Roku, phone, tablet. Like the PC version of this app is the worst by far, but it's navigatable. You just got to get used to it. Like right now, I have to go to sport, MMA, and I'm going to go to PFL. This next week, Thursday, look at that, PFL. Prelims and post shows. You got some on-demand stuff there. Last year's championship series. Randy Couture story, something they did because he works for them. Top 40 countdowns inside the season. A lot of things like UFC does, PFL does on here. Obviously, they don't have as big of content library. They're not as big a monster as the UFC is. But if you're just into MMA, I recommend watching some PFL too. I think there's some good quality stuff there. Hockey fans. I just mentioned a couple years ago, I would have said if you weren't a UFC fan, I would have told you to not get ESPN Plus. If you're a hockey fan, I think you're going to be pretty happy because you're going to get, I don't know if it's every hockey game, but pretty much everyone except for blackouts. Like, we're blacked out here because I'm in Seattle, Seattle Kraken versus San Jose Sharks. But I can watch everything else today. All the other games, you can scroll through this. They're on demand later. One of the nice things about that is, say you got a 2.5 hour game, especially if it's baseball. You got a 2.5 hour game. You can fast forward through all the commercials, through all of their mandatory breaks and things, and maybe watch a 2.5, 3 hour game in hour and a half or 2 hours. A lot of different hockey stuff, classic games all the way back to 1975. You see 75 Stanley Cup, 76. I'm not the hockey expert by any means, but if you're into hockey, if there's any questions I didn't answer about hockey or anything else, feel free to ask me questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer you. There are some baseball games too. So I'm going to browse by baseball. That's the easiest way to do that. Let's go to baseball. Live and upcoming. You have a few things coming today. That's actually, I think, showing me some of the stuff on ESPN and ESPN Plus. But let's look at live and upcoming. We got the Pirates and Nationals. You got the White Sox and the Braves playing. Baseball season just started. You're going to get a decent amount of that. You got upcoming. There's your hockey games. Cardinals and Padres. Later tonight, you're going to get some baseball games through the season. Not a ton. College basketball, we'll touch on that real quick. If you're into college basketball, I was able to watch just about all of the games up until the NCAA tournament. Especially, like, I'm a Gonzaga fan. They're ranked. So, I think they did a pretty good job on that. This app's just very glitchy. Like I said, on the website. I shouldn't say app. App's actually probably the way you should go on this. Because, see, like, we're getting some freezing there. And I don't have too many problems when I'm watching something. Like, it very rarely cuts out or freezes. Not any more than any other app, I would say. Maybe even less, probably less than average right now. If you're into documentaries, like sports documentaries, you're going to get a lot of those. Like Film Spotlight. Like, ton of these. You got Dion's Double Play. You got 42 to 1, Chasing Tyson, Vic, The Paterno Legacy. Like, if you Be Water, Bruce Lee. If you got an 8-year-old kid right now that you're looking to educate on sports and you want him to be as big a sports nut as you, like, this is probably a pretty good place to start. Chuck and Tito from the UFC. Just a ton of these different documentaries and things, and lots of good facts in all those. You got the 30 for 30s. You got E60. You got all that. You have some originals. You got Sports Center featured, which you're not going to get Sports Center on this, which that kind of sucks. If you ask me, I like to watch Sports Center in the morning. Like, give me a bowl of Raisin Bran and my Sports Center to start my day. Cup of coffee, like, that's a good start to me. Here, you're just going to get the best of Sports Center featured. Not even the reason I watch Sports Center. I watch it for the highlights. Because, I don't have time to sit there and watch every single game and every single play. That's why we love Sports Center. I really hope they include that in the future. More ESPN Plus exclusives. Let's see what they have. Pat McAfee Show. That's a big one. I know it's very popular. I like that one too. You're going to get the pre and post shows for every UFC fight night. You also get a pre and post show for the pay-per-views. You're going to get the UFC countdown, like UFC 299 countdowns on here. 300 should drop any day now. There's a lot of soccer. I'm not super familiar with soccer, but I know there's a decent amount of it on here. Like, let's go ESPN Plus. Well, see, this app it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Because now I got to go and search soccer. You got to find S, blah, blah, blah. Can I even click on it? No, I can't. Oh boy, that's nice. See, whoever was designing this on the website, like, you can't, it's hard to click on some of the apps over in the corner. Like, that's not really acceptable to me. It's in the feature though, so there we go. There we go, soccer. Maybe I'm being a bit picky on that, but you got live and upcoming. You have some of the Spanish soccer. Some of it's in Spanish. Sometimes it'll be in English, but you get news, you get a lot of different games, a lot of different soccer shows and stuff. ESPN, FC. I'm clueless when it comes to soccer. So if you have a specific soccer question for me, let me know down there in the comments, and I'll do my best to find it. But I'm just not a big soccer guy. Golf. Trying to think of the things that most popular sports that people would be interested in. Like, let's go to golf. Live and upcoming, we got the Valero Texas Open coming. You can go to PGA, PGA Tour, Masters, PGA Championship. Like, so here we go, on demand. We'll see all. So you can go to like certain holes, and they have the schedule of when, number 15 for this championship or whatever. Like, I like to play golf. I don't really know much about it though. You can go back and watch PGA tours from the past, PGA Championship films. I'm sure a lot of Tiger Woods, a lot of Arnold Palmer back in the day, Jack Nicholson, even NCAA golf. If that's your thing, you got some live and upcoming there. You got some on demand. That's enough for golf, since I don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to golf. Racing. Well, seeing that's another one of those things. It's a shame that they linked ESPN.com and ESPN Plus together, because I think it could have been more convenient for people, but unfortunately, like, it's not. And then you got Motorsports and Formula One. Those are two different things. Formula One, Japanese Grand Prix. I don't know, they had a Formula 2 and Formula 3, to be honest. And you just got a lot of their videos and stuff. If you have racing questions, same thing. Ask me in the comments. I don't want to waste a lot of time on that for people that aren't into racing. Different sports. You can see here from bobsleigh to cricket to equestrian, fencing. Like, if you're into a lot of these, I don't want to call them obscure sports, because I'm sure if you watch them, they're not obscure to you. MMA is obscure to a lot of people, I'm sure, but that's my thing. Pickleball, polo, rowing, rugby, a lot of things that you probably might not find anywhere else. Table tennis, tennis, X Games. I love the X Games. So just a lot of stuff there. You don't get all these channels here, though. These are just, you can access things from here, but they're not all on ESPN Plus. Like, this is just ESPN Plus. You don't even get Sports Center. NFL, you'll get some games throughout the year. Of course, you get, I think it's the Thursday night football. So that's worth it to me. $10.99 a month, $15.99 for the bundle, ESPN, Disney, and Hulu. I think that's fair. I know ESPN Plus started out at $4.99 a month. Then all us MMA fans went out and got it. And they jacked the price up because they like to hose sports fans, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they weren't making enough money. I'm not exactly sure here. But we'll go to the featured. Like, yeah, see, there's baseball games coming up. Decent amount of baseball. in Major League Baseball and college baseball, college softball, for anybody that's interested in it there. I know Caitlin Clark, everybody's finding out everything they can on her right now. She's kind of taken over the basketball talk. There's some info on her, some backstory for those that don't know. And then, as I mentioned, Master Official Films. If you're into golf, like, there's a lot just right there. Tons of 30 for 30s and E60s. Like, you could sit there and watch those basically for years, probably not run out of fights to watch, or documentaries to watch. Same thing with fights though. A lot of MMA fights, PFL, boxing. Let's check out boxing for a second. You got Top Ranked. You have what's coming up. See, we got a heavyweight doubleheader coming up this weekend. You got the State of Boxing at Thursday. I recommend that show. That's a really well-run show, in my opinion. Latest boxing. Then you're gonna have the Best of Boxing Spotlight, which I believe it's just Top Rank stuff. There's a few Pacquiao fights, De La Hoya, Lomachenko, Hagler, like one Ali fight. There's two, I guess. There used to be a ton of classic boxing on here, and on the on-demand, I'm not sure what they did with it. Like, it appears to be gone. The same as the ability to search any UFC fight at any given time. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. It's a fairly easy app to use for the most part. Like, if I want to watch this, I'm just going to click on it. It rarely ever freezes. Not any more than any other app, probably less than most. But I like it. For $10.99 a month, I like it. I watch it every week. I don't watch it every day, but I watch it, 3-5 days a week. Like, it's a pretty good value for me. Let me know what you guys think about this. Anybody that has ESPN Plus, feel free to add your comments. Or if you're looking at buying ESPN Plus, maybe I didn't answer your question. So let us know down there in the comments below. As always, I love you, I respect you, and I'll see y'all next time.